And you're radical. So the so-called sports writer, the only one who plagiarizes me constantly. So I posted a post to Facebook several days ago saying that, I'm an old stats professor. I mean, I graduated the #1 school of business in the country right here. And I'd done a bunch of work on it. And I said the second half of the season, BLAISE Threatt's leading the country in scoring. Leading the country. And I posted it to the fans. They took it down. And then they write an article saying exactly what I said. I'm almost word for word. They've been plagiarizing me for years. I do all the dirty work. So this is important. BLAISE Threatt, BLAISE Threatt, BLAISE Threatt, BLAISE Threatt. I'm no BLAISE Threatt from the day I got here. And talking about it. So, I got cancer. And so I'm connected to the hip at this hospital. So I've made the most of my time here. I was given 2 months to live in 2011, or I wouldn't be here. I'd probably be teaching in Vienna, in Austria. And so I made the most of my time, and I'm born and raised in Ogden, Utah, and I like Weber State sports anyway. I used to work for Coach Baglin at the team, blah, blah, all this long path. Watched so many players play here, got to know them, and I try to promote as many as I can because we have no media here. The media here is absolutely fucking pitiful. Ask Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard got no fucking media when he was here. Jimmer. So, all these players, including Dylan Jones, we'll talk about that. Rashid Shaheed, Winston Reed, so many of them. Bird Butler, he comes up to me, and he says, Kevin, all the promotion you do for everybody along the way, everything, he says, nobody gives you any credit. He says, you called out Rashid Shaheed from day one, first one, and promoted the shit out of him. Winston Reed, Dylan Jones, I go on and on and on and on. Jerry Carding, So, he says, none of them ever say that. I says, well, you did. You and Abraham, because him and Abraham Williams are friends. They went to high school together. And I was promoting him and Abe. They come right up to me. Told me thank you. And so, he said, I never gives you credit. None of them's ever said thank you to you, have they? I said, you have. So after the game, I'm talking to Blaze, and his mom, BLAISE Threatt's mother, came right up to me and told me, thank you for all your work you've done for us. I really, really appreciate it. And then I talked, and I said, this isn't about personality contests. This is about evaluating talent. That's what a good sports writer, that's what this vlog is. I mean, there's people, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. That's what it's all about. It has nothing to do with personalities. So, you see talent. And that's just the way it is. So, let's talk about this as far as Dylan Jones goes. Dylan Jones, what a player, what an athlete. I mean, incredible athlete. So this is BLAISE himself. And BLAISE is hyper, high level competitor. He's one of those, which that's what it takes to be in the NBA. You have to be this super competitive personality. It's just the way it is. He's like, everybody's betting me. I'm saying Dylan Jones going first round. Dylan Jones going first round. And everybody in their swinging dick brother bet me. Nobody paid me. Nobody nothing. The only person that freaking said anything to me was BLAISE Threatt. He says, because BLAISE told me straight up, he says, he ain't going first round. He walked right up to me in the library and he says, boy, you were right. I was wrong. You were on it again, BLAISE Threatt. So, he's leading the country in scoring 24.5 points a game. Now, I posted this to Facebook, saying this a week ago. And before I forget, Melanie, who sits right by me, long-time Weber State fan, sits right there, mid-court right there, center court right there, sat with me. Never missed a game. The day after the last game here, she had some surgery, and I don't know what happened, but I saw her obituary in the paper. It's very sad. She's one big-time Weber State fan, huge Weber State fan. It's heartbreaking to see that I couldn't believe it. That shows you how fragile life is. And so, BLAISE. Now, let's go back to Dylan Jones. let's go back to Damian Lillard. So Damian Lillard, the only people around here that really believed that Damian Lillard was an NBA player right off the get was Damian Lillard himself. Oh, hell yes. Joe Bass. Oh, yeah. Without Joe Bass, there is no Damian. Kevin Blanch. Oh, hell yes. Me and Joel used to talk about it all the time. And, you know, he broke his foot, and wasn't for Joe Bass, Damian Lillard wouldn't be in the NBA, because Joe Bass says this guy's an NBA guy, and they called in two abstract surgeons to save him, and Joe Bass is the one who did that, and Joe Bass says, we got to save this guy's an NBA player. So nobody believed it. So, I did. And I remember being in Wendover, and a bunch of guys are betting the Jazz. I said, what are you betting the Jazz for? We got an NBA player. It's free money. Just pay Weber State. They're playing at Tulsa. That's the game he broke his foot. And they were due to play Jimmer. Be like, he would have smoked his ass. And the whole Jimmer thing, what a sham. How does he end up being on the 3-on-3 team? He's one of the top 3 NBA players for the Olympics. And he wouldn't make the top 300. What a sham. And talk about not get medaled. I mean, what a joke. The most overrated player in the history of the state of Utah, Jimmer Fredette. Same time as Lillard. The most underrated is Lillard. So Lillard, all season long, senior, I got leukemia. I'm in the bone marrow transplant dying. So I didn't get to see a lot of it. I came out with my nurse and got to go to his bracket buster game. I was weighed 119 pounds, sucked up, could hardly walk. Sat with Eddie Tillman at the game and my nurse. I think it was his best game. I knew it, and they won the bracket buster. They probably would have got, I think they would have got a 12 or 13 seed in the tournament here. They were that good, and they got upset. So Lillard, everybody's talking maybe late second round. Maybe late till March. Well, nobody was even talking about Damian Lillard till March of that year, 2012. Then the dude's stock went from late second round in April and May like that. It was nobody even, we were getting into May. Nobody was even talking him first round. He goes 6th to a team that's no good, Portland, so he got a start, and he just went crazy off the free rookie. What hasn't he won? So this is the same thing that's happened to Blaze 3. Blaze 3 stock's rising at the right time. Blaze 3 is leading the country. In the last 13 games of this freaking season, the last half of this season, he's averaging well over 24 points. And now remember, this is a guy who's playing on a not very good team that's had a lot of adversity. Tomley, Kohler, a lot of adversity. He is triple teamed from end to end. Now let's compare and contrast. He's got very similar game as Dylan Jones. Dylan Jones 6'6". They're both big bodies. They're both they're so built for the NBA. But here's the difference. When Blaze 3 and Dylan Jones. They both rebound as guards, and Dylan Jones should be a natural guard. Blaze 3 is so much faster. Blaze 3's the fastest player I ever saw here with the ball. Blaze 3, when he gets the rebound, he'll go from coast to coast faster than any player I've ever seen. And that's including Jerry Carding. Jerry Carding was lightning. Jerry Carding, one of the most underestimated things about Jerry Carding's game here was speed. Now, Jerry Carding could be playing in the NBA. Jerry Carding's the best player ever played here in this building. And he turned it down. Remember the Summer League when he played for Dallas? He got offered. He's a superstar. He's leading scorer every single game, every game. The Blaze 3's game, and you look through it, not only does he score at will, it's his speed, his shifting speed. With the ball, his speed. And he's highly, highly competitive. I don't know, and this is how pitiful a lot of the fans are around him. Oh, you can't say that to John Stockton. I says, why the fuck can I? So John Stockton, sitting right behind me, because his kid's playing here, Sam. And I'm talking to John. I have a history with John. Back, I even named it Stockton versus 3 back to the 90s. And this is the other thing that I believe that Dylan's got pretty arrogant about himself post the money. And I don't think I know. Well, that's the thing. And I always worry about that players. Because Dylan didn't grow up with any money. Well, here's the other thing that the pedigree helps Blaze. He grew up with money. He's not going to get full of himself. And he never has. He's down to earth as it gets. So I walked right to John. And I told John, that was pretty low class. what Sam Stockton did at the end of the game. They're up by 20. Sam Stockton's dribbling out the ball. At the buzzer, he launches up a freaking three. At the buzzer, Beck's, oh, you don't think that pissed these guys off? Well, you sure didn't watch the end of the Eastern Washington game, did you? Oh, BLAISE 3 was all fired up and pissed off about it. That's what you have to have. That's what you're supposed to do. These players have to be high competitive. They have to have the competitor mentality. They have to. So BLAISE, when he first got here, he was on the bus, right? I'm taking the bus to the hospital from the library over there. And so as I'm coming over through to the hospital, I'm like, he comes up to me. BLAISE comes up to me. People know, they watch these videos. It's not how many's watching, it's who's watching. So he comes up to me. And he says, hey, you're going to go to the scrimmage, one scrimmage, Friday. He says, we're having scrimmage for referees, you know. And I wasn't sure who he was. And I says, well, I'd have to talk to the coach. I'm not invited to practice. I'm not just going to go. I used to go to Randy Ray used to invite me to practice all the time. He'd pick my brain. So he says, no, I'm inviting you. He knew who I was. I mean, anybody who knows I know how to identify talent. And I'm not panty painting and talking. I tell how it is. Like I did on Rashid Shaheed. Like I did on Winston Reed. Like I did on Dylan Jones. Like I did on Jerry Carding. You know? So who's the fucking sports writer around here? Publish. So, all right. I'll go. I says, are you who I think I is? And he says, who do you think I am? And I says, you're Sidell Threatt's son, right? I'm just guessing. I don't know. And he says, yeah. I says, you're the transfer. Yeah. Yeah, from Mesa. The D2 transfer. Okay. Nice. And we talked. And he made sure he told me the whole story about his path. I says, yeah. It's interesting, you know, and he brought it up to me. I didn't ask, and he says, yeah. He says, when in high school, I got hurt my back. Freak accident. And he says, so nobody gave me a scholarship. And he says, I was horribly depressed. You know, and again, this is this so-called local sports writer plagiarizes everything I say. It's on YouTube. He watches my YouTube videos and then rewrite. I mean, go ahead. It's plagiarism. So, because how many videos I'm doing just talking exactly like this, telling his whole path. So he quit, gained a bunch of weight. He says I was horribly depressed, and it was a friend. A friend talked to me and he says, no, man, just walk on to the local, your community college. Just walk on here. He wasn't going to, and it was a friend who talked him into it. He had to lose his weight. He had to get himself in shape. He had to do what he did, and he did. And he went there, and it took him a while, and he ended up being a superstar there. Of course. And then he comes here. Why'd he come here? And this is another thing, because let me get to this, and then I'll go back to BLAISE. One of the betting sites actually has Weber State at 1,000 to 1. 1,000 to 1 to win the tournament. They're going in as they have to play at the play-in game. The two last place teams play a play-in game tomorrow. And so you think if there's a chance. Look, that's Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber was filmed here in Ogden, Utah. I owned Blanch Plastering in those days. Butch Chavez was my lead man. He owned the Keg on West 24th Street. And that's where Dante's Inferno was filmed. So I got to meet Jim Carrey, hang out with him. I drove the smart cuff. We were there every day. So how did that be? He said he was driving up on 15 and he got a call that he had to order some flowers or do something or whatever. So he took the West 24th Street exit and he came over right by the Keg and it had weeds and everything going up. And I remember Bush, so I knew my letting it go to hell and someday would pay off. Because there was nothing going on in there, and he saw the building. And that's how it came to be, Dumb and Dumb here. So you think there's a chance, 1,000 to 1? I mean, I don't know if you could really get 1,000 to 1, but I'd throw a 20 spot on it. We were playing good right now, the best. And so, but here's the thing, in BLAISE, I'm like, the dude is sharp as a tack. He's a Dylan Jones type. Dylan Jones is a 4-0er. Brilliant mind. Same with Damian Lillard. You have to have that certain kind of mind. Jerry Carding. I mean, these guys have huge IQs. Not just basketball IQs. They have giant... That's what basketball is the observational mind. Einstein. I mean, you have to be able to see, especially at the point guard. You have to see and move. It's so fast and it's dynamic. That's why, autistic people love basketball. That's why. So he's got that mind. So I go to the game. I walk in and I go and I made sure I asked Eric, is it okay if I go to the game? Yeah. So I go into the game, and one of these coaches who I do not like, assistant, I won't say who it is, I really do not like, he got my face. Now remember, I'm well in my 60s. I'm an leukemia victim, and he got right in my face. And this is a guy's a real young guy. Who does that? And even at my age, he's so lucky I didn't drop him like a bag of dirt. I said, what do you say to me? You came in? I said, I have permission to be in here. By who? And I said, well, and he got all stupid. In the old school Ogden, that wouldn't have turned out well for him. It would have been very kosher. And so same with some of the people that run this building. The way they talk to me, I'm 65 years old, full of cancer, with a pacemaker, and these punks, pitiful. It's disgraceful, actually. So I go to the game. He looked pretty good. And last year, the whole season, it was Dylan Jones. Dylan Jones patting his stats, doing his thing. Well, that's what he has to, because here's what it's turned into at Weber State. And I think people need to understand this, especially with Eric Duff. He's been here. He's a Randy Ray guy. This tree's been here for 20 years. They don't win here. David Liverpool never played an NCAA tournament. Jared Carty never played an NCAA tournament. Dylan Jones never played an NCAA tournament. BLAISE will most likely never play an NCAA. So you think about that. But the one thing you can't argue with, you cannot argue with one thing here. It could be the best development boot camp place in the country. You know how many players? Jeremy Sieglin, he played a tournament. Joe Ballin, freaking Scotty Bamforth, Damian Lillard, Jerry Carty, Dylan Jones. They know. These players know. You can't argue with that as far as Eric Duff. Eric Duff knows how to develop. I'll give him that. He knows how to develop players for the next league. Unbelievable. Oh, hell yes, he does. Win? They don't win. This historic program was always about championship teams and winning, but that's not what it's about anymore. But you sure get to see a lot of players, and the Big Sky needs to worship this. McLaughlin, who's an Arizona kid, him and BLAISE, they're both Arizona. They played against each other. They know each other. You should have seen that game of them going at you. It was one of my top 10 games, maybe top 5 in the history of this building. That's including Jimmy Valvano cutting down the nets. That's including seeing freaking Jason Kidd's last kid get sent packing. Who's number 2 in the country in scoring for the year? McLaughlin. NAU. Oh, he's that good. He is that fucking good. Everybody says it's Darling. No, Darling's the 3rd best in the league. The best in the league is BLAISE 3. McLaughlin. BLAISE 3, McLaughlin. There's your argument for this Big Sky NBA. Darling's 3rd. He's awesome. Great lefty. He's the best lefty I've seen since Jerry Carty. He's incredible, but he's not BLAISE 3. BLAISE 3's 6'3" guard that rebounds. Assists. Very similar to Dylan Jones in some ways, but much, much, much faster. He's the fastest player I've ever seen. He'll get a rebound at the end, it's like lightning, whoop, to the other end. He'll go through all 5 players so fast and blow your mind. He's the fastest player I've ever seen here, bar none. And his stock's rising, just like Damian Lillard. And I know this, for a fact, his work ethic, because I set up shop here, and I saw him in the library one day this summer. What are you doing, man? He says, gotta hit the books, gotta study. And I'm doing a video right here one morning. It's a Sunday morning early as there. There he is running. He's all in, just like Lillard was, just like Dylan Jones was, just like Jerry Carty was. All in. This guy's that. And his stock's right. He's leading the country in scoring. He's 24.564 a game. And I posted this on Facebook because I'm an old set. Just the number 1 school business in the country, that's all. The class of 96, Weber State. Jimmy DeGrafty's class, by the way. The student professor over there, number one via the X scoring. You don't think I know how to do stats? Oh, I know how to do fucking stats. I know how to evaluate. So this vlogger Well, blogger, scout, called me the other day. And I've talked to him multiple times. He says, I got to pick your brain, Blanch. He says, you always right about what you're saying. You're the guy. He says, we were talking about Rashid. And by the way, I'm really hoping Rashid will get traded. There's a lot of talk he's going to get traded to Denver. But, I mean, he's on that fast track, and they got a new coach, new quarterback situation. Rashid Shaheed's the most underpaid. It's the biggest steal in sports. Undrafted, making the league minimum until this year. He's going to get $5.3 million, but he should get $200 million, like all these other players are. I hope they get him traded. He's a mega superstar, which I knew that. Undrafted, signed on the practice squad, that much. So you think we got a chance? Well, long BLAISE Threatt's on the floor. This team's went through a lot of adversity this year. Tomley left the team. Now, I don't know the details of that, but Dyson Core cracked wrist in his hand. But this is the same old here. So you need to make a way, because this is a contract year, I believe, for the coach. Do we keep this as the developmental league to watch these great players develop and move on with their careers? Because it's probably one of the best in the country. It's unarguable. The proof's in the pudding. This isn't about person. I loved Randy Ray. Randy Ray's one of my favorite people ever. He stuck up for me. One of the only people in this university ever stuck up for me. When I was full of cancer and fucking dying. He was always with me. I was with him when he recruited Joe Ballenboy. I talked to him lots and lots about when he recruited freaking Damian Lillard. I was like, God, I can't believe he pulled that one off. But the Big Sky should be politicking this and using this, because we're never going to be able to compete with NIL money. We don't want it. We want players that nobody wanted, like Rashid Shaheed, one scholarship offer in the country, like Teron Johnson, 0 recruit, only 1 scholarship in the country, like Jonah Williams, 1 scholarship like Opeta right here, 1 scholarship in the whole country, like BLAISE Threatt. Nobody wanted it. He says, no, we want it. That's the kind of, we want hungry players. We want players to stay here. Dyson Core stayed here 4 years. 2 stayed here for 4 years. Pop. No. And the Big Sky should be grandstanding that. Go ahead with your bling, your freaking NIL money. We want players that nobody wants. We'll take them. That's what makes this league so highly competitive and so good, because they're hungry. Football's another thing what happened. Don't even get me going there. So no one's ever told me thank you for all my historic work. No one, ever. BLAISE Threatt's mother did. She made a point of it. Hey, I want to say to you, thank you for everything you've done for us. And I said, well, who's the sports writer? It's not about personalities. Of course, he's one of my favorite people. So is Dylan, though. So is Jarek. Lillard, you couldn't get close to Lillard. Lillard was so intense, but great person. But he's all in, and his stock's going like this. He's leading the fucking country in scoring the second half of this season. That's what you want. You want to peak at the right time. This reminds me so much of Damian Lillard. So much. And Damian Lillard played on a great team, probably the greatest backcourt in the history of Weber State basketball. Bamforth and Lillard together. They got upset because of the great Anthony Johnson in this freaking building. The greatest performance in the history of this building, Anthony Johnson. He died last year of a stroke. He scored, 46 points when they won 66-65. Never missed a field goal and free throw in the entire second half. Triple team. That's another thing people don't realize. And you watch these games from all 90 feet. He is hammered, double, triple teamed. And he said, oh, you can't say that to John Stockton. Why the fuck can I? I said, that was pretty low life what fucking Sam Stockton did. And John agreed with me, by the way. John agreed with me. And I love John Stockton. And John Stockton would never do that. Guaranteed he would never do that. What the hell is this dude doing? So anyway, you see it all around here, man. So I think he'll be drafted much higher than you think in the NBA. And here's my personal opinion. Lillard's a superstar in the NBA. I mean, he's Damian Lillard. Forget about it. Without Joe Bass, Joe Bass retiring. Dylan Jones sits on the bench because he's playing for that great OKC team. Ain't broke, don't fit. I wish they would trade Dylan Jones. I think Dylan Jones would have been a superstar as a rookie. I'd have been competing for Rookie of the Year, but he doesn't get a play. He's that good. He is that. Jarek Hardy. And remember who told you this. I think Threatt's going to be the best as a professional athlete of any of them in the NBA. That's what I told him. What do you think? And I just told you what I think. He says, yeah. Well, you're usually always right. So you think they got a chance. Lord Christmas, Dumb and Dumber was filmed in Ogden, Utah. So BLAISE Threatt's mother is the only one that's ever said thank you to me. And remember, I had open heart surgery twice, including this year. You know, and I've got AML leukemia. De novo. I'm literally connected to that hospital at the hip. So I've tried to make the most of it because I don't really have any other choice. And the school treats me like dog shit. So do the people that run this fucking place. They kiss my ass. Stay in tune.